All right. All right. Yes, once again, welcoming you all to this current webinar where we'll be learning about how to manage our sugar cravings and how to combat it as well. So, sugar cravings is a very common challenge where each and every one of us faces. So, this is kind of a strong urge to reach out to sweet and satisfy your cravings part. So, it can be as simple as a piece of chocolate or something. So, we are going to learn about how they impact on our health, and also we'll be learning about how to get it. Possible ways to manage these cravings as well, right? So in this topic, we'll be learning about what are cravings and what are the major causes of your cravings, and also what are their impacts, and to manage what are the practical ways that we can practice, right? so yes. Now,
Shravani, I think it's not very clear, the PPT, the way I don't know how you are sharing it. Just give me 1 second, let me share.
okay.
Are you able to see now?
Yes, yes, now it's perfect. All right. Can we shift to the next slide, Neha? Yeah, so as I told, these are the major agenda. We'll be learning about sugar craving and their triggers, and how these are intensified during winters. During winters only you feel like reaching out to sweet, and not in summers sometimes. So what is the reason, we'll be learning in this current session, and also strategies to manage your cravings. So Neha, can we shift to the next slide? All right. So now let us understand about sugar cravings specifically. So sugar cravings are referred as immense and overwhelming desire to reach out to the sweet. So that you can make yourself feel comfortable. So basically this is the whole idea. So now let us understand what is difference between your hunger and cravings. So for suppose you are feeling hungry. So maybe let us assume that in your dining hall there is rice and dal, and you're feeling hungry, then no matter what is there on the table, you tend to go reach out to that food and you finish the food. But in case of cravings, no matter there is rice and dal, you don't feel like eating that. You have something in your mind that you want to eat. So it can be as simple as chocolate or any kind of kaju katli or gulab jamun or something. So even though if it is not at your home, you go and you get that. So that is the difference between your hunger and craving. So hunger is not specific. You don't feel like eating any kind of specific food. So it's very non-specific. Whatever is there, you tend to reach out to it. But cravings is very specific. You want this and you get this and you eat it. So this is the difference between your cravings and the hunger part. So what are the common triggers? So triggering points can be different. So there are two types of triggers basically. So one will be your biological trigger, where your body actually needs that sugar. So for suppose maybe your body assumes your sugars are going down. Then what it does, it instantly makes you feel craving for some sweet or high sugary stuff, and you reach out to it and you manage your sugar readings. Or other thing is psychological. So this is totally related to your emotion and how you're feeling at that particular point of time. It can be like your stress, or you're sad, or as simple as boredom. Boredom also pushes you to reach out to sweet and satisfy your craving part. So it feels like you're rewarding your body kind. So that is the psychological factor as well. And then uh, see, if this is happening once or twice, then it's absolutely fine. So you can manage it. But if you're not able to manage it, and if this is repetitively happening again and again and again, so then these have serious impact on our health, which can lead to obesity or diabetes or any kind of metabolic disorder, all these things. So managing this and understanding why you're getting cravings is very important, right? And then we are going to discuss strategies as well for the cravings part in the end of the session, by the end of the session. So, Neha, can we shift to the next slide? All right. So, why do we crave for sugar? So, first one is blood sugar fluctuation. So, when your body assumes that your blood sugars are dropping, your body directly signals to you to take something so that it can satisfy the craving part. See, for suppose, this commonly happens when you are skipping your meal. So, for suppose you have skipped your meal in the morning and you're directly taking in the afternoon or after a long period of time, then cravings comes into picture, and you tend to eat lot in the next meal. Or other possibility is when you're taking high carbohydrate meal. So if you are loading your plate or loading your meal with carbohydrates, and if you're not able to add in a balanced plate, like maybe you're skipping protein, you're skipping fibers, and then you're taking just upma or just poha or bowl of poha, then also your sugar fluctuation happens, and this would again lead to the craving part to reach out to the sweets, right? And second one, this is very interesting, which is serotonin and dopamine. So when we have stress, there are certain hormones which will be released. At the same time, when you're happy or when you feel good, certain hormones are there. Certain hormones are making you feel that, which is your serotonin and dopamine. So what happens in the winters is that, see, we observe that in summers you never feel like having something really good like hot chocolate or coffee or tea or something. That urge is very less in summers, but in winters it is very high. This is because, see, in summers we exposed to sunlight. So sunlight, what it does, it eventually increases your serotonin production, which is your feel good hormone production. But in winter, due to the absence of sunlight, since sunlight is not there, so what happens, you get the urge to eat sweet to produce. So this is one of the alternate way to increase your serotonin levels and your dopamine levels, right? So this is something related to your hormone part. And also reward loop. So dopamine, which is a happy hormone, is basically a neurotransmitter which is produced for reward system. So what happens when you take a small piece of sweet and you feel happy and you tend to do it repetitively, right? So that should not happen. And emotional connection. So most of us feel comfortable with sweets. When you're stressed, you go reach out to sweets, and we have to celebrate something, then we go to sweet. And whenever there is any kind of housewarming ceremonies or any such ceremonies, first thing we start off with our food is with our sweet, right? So it is having strong emotional connection to it as well, right? Neha, can we go to the next slide? All right. So, winters and sugar craving. So, what is the connection? So, first thing, as I told, sunlight is the major thing that will imbalance your hormones and leads to the cravings part. And first one, next is behavioral conditioning. So, in winters, we have a tradition of having, enjoying warm drinks or, treating yourself with sweets and all that stuff. So that also impacts our sugar cravings and all that stuff. It is strongly associated. And also biological factor. So it is again with feel good hormone or ghrelin production and dopamine thing also comes into picture. And evolutionary perspective. So during our ancestors think way back then, so what used to happen is that during the winter time, so they need to store enough amount of energy. So why this is important is that, so during your winter time, your metabolism, when they increase, the heat production is also there. So indirectly you're keeping your body warm as well. So for that reason, so this is also one of the practice. And the other thing is that so during the season, so winters are very lazy season, so it makes us feel very much lazy. And even I come across so many people telling it's winter and we were not able to walk, we weren't able to exercise. So it makes you feel very lazy, and it doesn't give you that energy or boost, right? So because of this off mood which happens in the winter, we tend to go for sweet, so we boost up our energy, and we tend to be little energetic. So the sugar cravings comes in the picture even because of that, right? And can we go to the next
Yeah, I just want to add up one more thing, Shravani, over here, that So whenever there is no sun, whenever there's no sunlight, it lead to a lot of, like, lack of energy, because our body works as per the circadian rhythm and the sun. So that is one of the major reasons winters, because of the less lack of sun, you tend to feel more cravings. So we should avoid these types of cravings. Instead, if you just work out every day in the morning, it gives you a good warmth in the body. Plus, it also helps in stabilizing your sugar levels, and that will end up giving you a good stability in your hunger pangs, and maintains the balance between the ghrelin and your leptin, which is your hunger, and the hunger hormones. So they also prevent any sort of craving. Plus, it helps you in going overboard with the binging. So I think Shavani has well covered. We will move to the next part. But if you have any doubts in between, please feel free to keep on writing down the questions in the chat. You can raise your hands if something is not clear. We will take it up for sure. We can also take all the questions around 11:30. But yes, over to you, Shavani.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So what happens when this cravings part is very higher? See, for suppose if you're feeling once in 2, 3 months or something, that is absolutely fine. So maybe we can, go for some healthy alternatives and thing. So yes, someone have replied that fruit slice are good, or fruit juice. So maybe we will try to keep it in the last. I thought it was related to this, and I took up that question. Yeah. So when this is repetitively happening, what happens is that there is a lot of metabolic issues that occurs. So it it increases your weight eventually. So when your weight increases, your BMI, all these stuff increase. So when this gets increased, your fat levels are also increasing eventually. So fat increases again, they indirectly impact your insulin production. So your abdominal fat and all that stuff, what happens? Your insulin production is also not proper, and your blood sugar spikes also are very up. Are very much up and down when you're even craving more and more and more, if you're taking sweet intake or sugary stuff intake. So your blood sugar also fluctuates, and that is one thing. And heart related diseases are also very predominantly high, and all your metabolic disorders comes into picture. So it's very important to understand why these cravings are occurring and what are the root cause, and correcting this immediately is also very very important, right? So can we shift to the next slide? All right. So, what are the dietary tips, practical tips that you can follow? So, first one is to begin your meal right. So, never skip a meal, especially during this time. So, it's very, very important to not skip a meal at all. So, start your day with a high protein breakfast. So, protein breakfast, what it does is it keeps you feel full for long period of time, and you don't feel that urge to reach out to sweet or something. So maybe it can be as simple as egg omelets, or adding Greek yogurt, or it can be like a pesarattu kind of thing. So all these, what it does, it helps in stabilizing your sugar readings, and also the cravings part also would start coming down. And make sure you're taking a balanced meal. So your meal should be according to the plate method itself. So where you're including adequate amount of protein, and you're giving certain amount of healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates along with the fiber. So this can also lead to reduce the cravings part. And next one is hydration. So this is very important point. So sometimes what happens is that we get confused with the actual thirst and also cravings. So maybe we are actually thirsty, but we misunderstand it as a cravings and reach out to sweet immediately. So that should not be done. So make sure whenever cravings comes into picture, try to drink a glass of water, like 250 ml to 300 ml of water. So slowly the cravings part would subside. So this is also very very important. So hydration, drinking about 3 liters of water is very very important. So this do not help just with the cravings part. It also aids good digestion and overall health as well. So never get confused with the thirst and cravings part. So make sure whenever you feel like eating something, divert your mind with drinking a glass of water or about 300 ml of water. That should also help you out. And try to plan your day ahead, like whatever you want to have your meals, so plan it the previous day, like what should be your tomorrow's breakfast, lunch, dinner, along with the snacking options. Make sure you're preparing it so there is no confusion in the next day, so you don't reach out to any type of other foods as well. So that also becomes very very important, right? So starting your day with protein rich meal, and taking a balanced meal where you're adding in protein, fat, fiber, and also carbohydrate, complex carbs in your meal is important. And if you're taking high carb meal at once, definitely your sugars will go up, and then it will eventually come down, and then you feel hungry later again, and that's when you reach out to any kind of high carb food again. So to avoid that, taking a balanced meal also plays a very important role. 3 liters of water, which is about 8 to 10 glasses of water, should be there. And then planning your day ahead is also very important. So, Neha, can you shift to the next slide? So first one, try to set a routine. So as I told, plan your day ahead. So what should be there for your breakfast? This. Lunch, this, and snacking, this. So try to follow the specific thing itself. So you are nourishing your body very much good, and you're not disturbing any kind of routine as such, and you don't get that urge to reach out to sweet also. So that is important. And the next one, Neha. So mindful eating. So this is very, very important. So I usually prefer, eating mindfully is very, very important to build that responses between your hunger and hormone production and your brain. So try to dedicate your time and associate your time with your food for minimum 20 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes should be for your food itself. So try to analyze how the taste is, how you're feeling when you're eating it, how is the feel, how is the texture. So associating yourself for food for 15 to 20 minutes, it also helps in reduction in your stress, and the signaling of your stomach and your brain is very much improved. So you know how much to eat, you will know how much to eat. And also portion controlling is also done, and when you're 80% full, then that's it. So that's when you have to stop your eating. So this is majorly known when you are dedicating your time with your food for 15 to 20 minutes, right? So can we go to the next slide, Neha? So next one, managing your stress. So try to incorporate any kind of stress relieving activities. So definitely meditation, yoga, deep breathing practices are something which can beautifully reduce your stress. But beyond this, is it just that? No, it is never just that. You can also include certain type of hobbies for that matter. Maybe gardening. It can be as simple as listening to your music, or any kind of sketching or dancing, whatever keeps you relaxed, makes your mind feel calm and fresh. So you can do those activities. That also can reduce your cravings part, because the hormonal imbalance doesn't happen when there is higher hormonal imbalance, then automatically you tend to crave. So for that reason, so managing your stress is important. So can we go to the next one? So, good quality of sleep. So, sleeping for 7 to 9 hours of sleep is a very, very important. So, the fluctuations of sugar, if you have observed in your CGM period, so when you're having a bad sleep routine, you can see the fluctuations, how they happen in your sugar reading as well, right? So, the same way, it's very important to avoid the craving part and to avoid the sugar fluctuation. Having a good quality of sleep of about 7 to 9 hours is very, very important, right? So can we go to the next one? So regular exercises. So having a fitness routine is very important. So as Neha already mentioned earlier, so when you're doing workout in the morning, or when you are training your muscles, so what happens is that it boosts your mood, and also it keeps your body warm and comfortable. the entire day. So automatically your sugar cravings would come down. And the other thing is that when you're doing these workouts, so it basically enhances our mood. Boosts your metabolism and all that stuff. And your insulin sensitivity also increases indirectly. So where it puts our sugar ratings down as well. So try to switch to healthier alternative. So this is very important. So instead of going for high calorie food, so I think someone had mentioned in the chat box also, so can we go to a fruit as a healthier option? Yes, definitely you can reach out to fruit, and in certain proportion itself. So try to choose healthier choices. So instead of going for sweet or something to satisfy your craving, maybe you can take nuts along with fruit, or apple along with peanut butter spread on it, so chia pudding kind. So all these are healthier switch your options that you can incorporate during your craving time. So yeah,
And
Neha.
even like Shravani, we can also add like yogurt with the strawberries. We can take yogurt with the blueberries. And if you refrigerate them, they taste really nice. Can
Hmm.
add a pinch of monk sugar, or you can just add 2, 3 slices of banana for the natural sweetness. And one of the best way, one of my favorite dessert, if you freeze it, it tastes amazing with the blueberries, and you can have it, enjoy it just like an ice cream. It gets freezed and becomes more thicker. So that's few. These are the few options that is always good to go, and you can keep it in the fridge to avoid any sugar spikes.
Yes. All right, so you have got a number of ideas now, like chia pudding, and as Neha told, yogurt with berries tastes really amazing. So maybe shifting to those options will satisfy your cravings, and you're not disturbing your sugar readings as well, right? And so, how first thing, it is very important to recognize the craving signal. Why is it actually happening, and how frequently this is happening should be addressed. Because if something is happening very repetitively, something is wrong inside, maybe there is some nutrient deficiency which is triggering that part. So correcting that is very important. And also identify the stress thing, so that is also very important. And you can treat it occasionally, you can go for the thing, but this should not be happening very repetitively or very frequently. So that is also important, right? So can we go to the next one? Yeah. So now, at last, let us try to understand how to, cope up with these stressors and triggers, which is leading us to reach out to the sweets. So first one is 15-minute rule. So 15 minutes. So this solid 15 minutes should be diversion part. Okay. So for suppose now, if I feel like having, so since it's Bangalore, so it is everywhere, aurikai and what is that? It can be field beans basically. So everywhere you find this sweet and so this delicious thing happening here. So instead of directly reaching out to the sweet, whatsoever the sweet is, so it is very important for us to divert our mind. So 15 minutes, just analyze and try to postpone the event of reaching out to the sweet. So it can be like maybe doing a light physical activity, or just listening to the music, or just roaming here and there, drinking a glass of water. So try to postpone the event. Eventually, the trigger would subside. So they will start coming down. So this is very important. 15-minute rule works really good. Immediately don't reach out to the food what you want. Wait for 15 minutes, divert your mind, and keep postponing. If 15 minutes is not working, again postpone for other 15 minutes. So postponing the event like this will eventually stop the urge of reaching to the sweets. And healthy alternative, as Neha gave a good example, so opt for healthy switches which will not affect your sugars or overall health as well, so that we are not disturbing our journey. So this will be a guilt free thing. So instead of having it and feeling guilty, So dedicate some time to having something really good and appreciate yourself. Try to appreciate whatever the success you I mean small events. Also make sure you're appreciating yourself. So just pat on your back. Yes, you have done a good job. You have not taken a piece of chocolate and instead you have switched to a fruit. So try to do this reward mechanism. So trust me, it will definitely help it. And stress reduction activities. So trying to reduce your stress actually helps a lot, because during stress, when you are having constant stress in your body, so what happens is that your hormones do not be under our control, so they start releasing, and this will make you reach out to sweet every single time, right? So doing journaling, or maybe like gratitude journaling it can be, and try to appreciate yourself by the end of the day, and also try to listen to some music or doing some meditation. All these stress relieving activities can definitely help you to cope up your sugar cravings. And yeah, this is about the session. I hope you all loved it and understood. So maybe we will take up doubts now. So
Absolutely, Shravani, well explained. And I think that was a very important topic. And I hope you all could relate to it, can understand what are the strategies that we can manage. We always say that, if we feel urge of having something, don't immediately grab it. Even same way we tell about the impulsive buying, right? That 15 minutes rule, or just giving it a thought whether you really need it or not. That helps in, controlling yourself and bringing that mindfulness automatically.